Hello, everyone. How's it going? Azren, the language nerd here. I'm the owner of the Calgary Language Nerds. My team of tutors and I, we teach classes for a wide variety of foreign languages, and we work with people of all ages and all levels of fluency. And welcome to another video in this series that I've put together on how to learn another language. As a reminder, the homepage for this website is directly on my website. That's the best place to access this course because any course updates all are going to be on that page. All the videos are well organized on that page. Everything you'd ever need is on that page. And if you're watching this on Instagram or YouTube or whatever it is, there's a very good likelihood that you'll be missing out on certain things if you're not always referring to the homepage, the actual web page for this class and this course, excuse me. The website is azrenthelanguagenerd.com/free course. That is spelled AZ or ZREN, thelanguagenerd.com/free course. And today marks a pretty important day in the course. Let's scroll back up. It's a pretty important day because today we are halfway through. There are 130 pages in this program, and today we are officially at page number 67. So actually, the last video was halfway through this course. Today we're going to cross that halfway point. And we're going to do so by discussing shopping. Let's scroll down here. So we have our vocabulary section, of course, as always. As a reminder, don't forget to go beyond the vocabulary I provide in this course. Learn more than the words I simply provide in this course. This is just a starting point. You can learn things by Googling them, looking in dictionaries, YouTubing them, or simply speaking to your tutor/speaking partner. The starter words I've given you here are shopping center, supermarket, market, small business, price, sale, offer, discount. Sale, offer, and discount are kind of similar, but that's okay. Cheap, expensive, cart, fitting room, shop assistant, and customer. As a reminder, please go beyond these words because there are many other words that are important when it comes to shopping that go beyond simply these ones that I provided you today. To learn other words, all you need to do is speak with your tutor or your language partner in the conversation practice section of this unit, which comes right at the end. As you're conversing, lots of words should come up that you haven't recognized, that you don't know how to say, and you're going to make sure that you are asking lots of questions and you're asking about like, how do you say this? How do you say that? I'm trying to say this. I don't know how. Wait, what did you say? Okay, say that again to me. Oh, what does that word mean? Lots and lots of questions is very important here. Very, very important. Okay. The other way you're going to learn new words beyond what I provided you here is throughout the listening practices that you're doing. When you're doing the listening practice activity here, the listening assignment, you're going to make sure that you do the timestamp activity where you write down the timestamps where you're hearing things you don't recognize, that you don't understand. And that's then where you're going to go ask your tutor or your speaking partner, like, what does this mean? What does this mean? What does that mean? So that's a great way to expand your vocabulary. One thing I might do, actually, I'm going to think about this. Perhaps this is the flaw in the course that I have to address. Perhaps I need to give some vocabulary benchmarks, like how many words should you learn per chapter, or how much grammar should you learn? Like maybe I should provide some more benchmarks. And maybe I should even provide a benchmark of like, how much speaking practice should you do? Like how long should you spend on this chapter? Maybe I should give some more direction there. I'm going to think about that. I'm going to think on that because that might be a possible flaw. I would appreciate any feedback on the course. It'll help me make it the best possible thing that it can. And I do plan on making adjustments to this on an ongoing basis so that it truly can be a program that you follow to achieve your fluency goals. Because right now, to my knowledge, there are not any programs out there where you simply follow the program and you actually achieve a very high level of fluency. So I'm trying to become, I think, the first person to put that together. Anyway, we have some more useful phrases for shopping that I've listed out that I think are important for you to learn. So speak with your tutor, speak with your language partner, perhaps Google it, perhaps YouTube it, look in a dictionary, and figure out how you would say these phrases here. You may want to ask, how much does something cost? Asking, do you have such and such item in stock in store? You might share, I'm looking for a shirt, I'm looking for pants, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. Fun fact, pants in Canada and pants in the UK has a completely different meaning. It's hilarious. Let's ignore it. Let's keep going. You might want to say, I'm just browsing. Excuse me, where can I find such and such item? Do you have something like this, but in red? Do you have something like this, but in a bigger size? Do you have something like this, but in a smaller size? Can I return this? Do you offer any discounts? Can I pay by card? Can I pay by cash? And then, of course, in this workbook, I've left lots of empty spaces for you to fill in whatever other phrases you think are important for you to learn. Pay attention to the wording of these sentences and how they're phrased in the target language, because language structures, when you're actually forming sentences in different languages, it's really different. Something like French, when you ask, for instance, like, I don't know, like, do you have, like, it's such a strange way to format for a native English speaker. It's so bizarre. So you make sure you really zero in, spend some time learning the grammar behind what's happening in these sentences. Why are sentences phrased the way they're phrased? What's going on here? Maybe go beyond this workbook and even write additional practice sentences, right? To practice some of the sentence structures that are happening in this language practice section. Okay, we have another section here which is all about numbers, right? It's very difficult to shop without knowing your numbers, especially if you're going to a country where bargaining is a part of the culture. Now, what I've created in this book here and in this program is instructions to learn every single number leading up to a pretty high number. I've targeted this all the way up to, I believe, 100,000. If I believe, yeah, 100,000. You could, of course, go bigger than that. But ultimately, understand that different languages may have different numbers that are more important. For instance, if you're going to be learning Hindi, well, understand that, and you're from the UK or even Canada, well, when you go to India, things don't cost 4 rupees. The currency is just the way the currency works. It's 1 Canadian dollar to 50 rupees. So you better know your hundreds and your thousands in Hindi because you're going to use those all the time. In fact, you may arguably use them more than the small numbers. People default into thinking, oh, I should learn 1 to 10 first, which, sure, maybe you should. But you do need to know your bigger numbers in Hindi versus in like French. If you're going to go to France, they're using euros, and understanding numbers in the hundreds and thousands is probably not the most practical, because most things you pay for will be under 100 euros, right? For the most part, typically. Maybe a little more if you go on a big shopping spree or something of that effect. But like if you're in restaurants or day-to-day things, like you're not going to be paying 5,000 euros for things. Things are going to be much cheaper in terms of the number of the said currency than, for instance, in India or Uganda or things of that nature. So keep that in mind. I've kept this section pretty straightforward, pretty blank in a way. I've just written instructions here. Write the numbers 0 to 99 on the next 2 pages. I've then written instructions over here to list the words for all these numbers listed, going from 100 to 100,000. Learn the in-betweens as well. So learn how to count from 100 to 1,000, 1,000 to 10,000, 10,000 to 20,000, and so on. I mean, if you're learning a language, it's pretty widespread. You can simply YouTube this. There's going to be lots and lots of videos that cover this, and you'll be able to write these down and take some notes. And this is reasonably straightforward to go learn. It is a pretty heavy topic. It's hard to memorize all these numbers, especially in certain languages. Like Gujarati is a nightmare for numbers. It's really hard. So you might choose to learn a certain batch of numbers, and then you move on, you skip the rest of the numbers, and you revisit it later. That's perfectly acceptable at this stage of this program. Okay. Okay, so one way you can practice numbers is by doing a window shopping activity. I'm actually going to demonstrate this for you. Let me stop my screen share and let me demo this. Okay, let's open an internet browser. Let's go to Google. Okay, let's reshare my screen. So let's say we look up something like, how maybe you're super into like health and fitness and wellness, for example. So you might search like health stores in London, right? London, England. Maybe that's what you want to do, right? And let's go on to one of these websites. Maybe we go to Bioorganics Health Store, right? Actually, that's got a pretty low rating, only 4.5 stars. Actually, 4.2 is not that bad, I suppose. Okay, let's go here. Let's go to the website. Here we go. Let's wait for it to open up. Here we go. So what you do is you look at this website, right? And you go, maybe you want to, actually, when you're doing this, this is going to be really good because now you're going to learn all these words to navigate the website. So it's not only will you learn your numbers, but you're going to get, you should do this with your language exchange partner so you can help understand what the heck are you reading, especially in a language such as Mandarin, where it's a character-based language and you have no idea how to even pronounce the stuff you're looking at. And you can start to learn, write these down, right? Write them down, go nice and slow, write down, how do you navigate a website? That's pretty important to know how to do. So don't just, when you're doing this window shopping, don't just limit yourself to the numbers here. Learn how to navigate the website. Take your time, take a week understanding the website. Like that's a really useful thing to learn. Talk to your language partner, your tutor. So maybe you're like, okay, I want to look at like health food and drinks. You go to like, I don't know, biscuits and cookies. Now you're going to notice prices, right? $2.99, $2.99, $2.99, $2.99, $1.79, $3.19, $2.99. Read these numbers out to yourself. Write some sentences to say, oh, almond biscuits on this website cost $2.99, and write these out. Say them to yourself. Discuss these prices with your tutor or your language exchange partner. And then go to a different section. Let's go to a more expensive section, like sports and nutrition, or supplements should be more expensive. Right? You want to look at things that cost different types of numbers. You can get practice with all sorts of different types of numbers. This is kind of fun. You can learn about something that interests you, like a very specific kind of vocabulary, because you'll learn as you read these. You're going to be like, if you're learning English, you're going to be like, what the heck is a biscuit? You're like, oh, biscuit. Let me look that word up. And you're like, oh, biscuit. Now I know what a biscuit is. Cool. Let's look at a more expensive item here. I don't know. Men's supplements. Sure. Here we go. Some bigger numbers. $22.99, $10.49. Right? Maybe even add some stuff to your cart and you get a really nice big cart filled with like, maybe you'd make like a dream shopping list and you put everything in your cart that you would really like to buy. And then you then add all the numbers up and see what the price is and try to read that price to yourself. Like, here we go. We can shop by price. Look at this. 142 to 175. Read those numbers out. Like, how do you say those numbers? Read them to yourself. Write those numbers out. Talk about those numbers with your language exchange partner. This activity alone, I'll be honest, this is another this window shopping activity. This is another one of those activities in this program that in theory, you can build an entire curriculum based on this one activity. Because imagine, look how many freaking words there are on this website. Look how many words there are. There's 100 words on this website on it as it is. Like, wow. If you go learn those words and you learn to navigate this website, you truly understand what you're reading and you take your time to learn them and you talk about them with your language exchange partner. You decide to have a conversation class one day about health and wellness and you learn all those words. Then you rinse and repeat the whole experience for a different niche. You're like, okay, now I want to learn about sports. Now I want to learn about dance because I love dance. I'm going to look at a dance supply store. Like, oh my God, you could spend 6 months on this right here in this part of the program and really push your fluency. Like, you could almost take a tangent on my program and pause the program here and only do this for another like 6 months and progress all the way up to level 3. That would not shock me whatsoever. Oh my God, what an organic way to study. Organic, what a play on words. I didn't mean to do it that way. But it's an organic way to study and very, very effective. I think a lot of you can learn that way. Okay. But let's say that's not what you do and you want to continue with the program. Well, you can do that. I've given you a writing practice here. It's not related to shopping. It's more a numbers practice. You're going to fill out the blanks in these sentences here. Okay. How many people live in your city, town, or village? You'll write that in. 500 people live in my village. How many employees work in your company? 100 employees work in my company. You'll write that out. My house is blah, blah, blah square meters or square feet. My something costs this many dollars or this many rupees or whatever currency you use. I can walk blah, blah, blah distance a day. Write these out. Good number practice. And now we have our speaking practice. So there's a couple of things you can do. This is a fun chapter. There's lots you can do here. So one thing you can do is make a list of some numbers that are important to you. Maybe your birthday, your birth year, maybe, who knows, maybe you have a favorite number, maybe you have a lucky number, maybe you've got a jersey number of your favorite athlete. Make a list of numbers and have your speaking partner try to guess what the meaning is behind those numbers. You can play a guessing game together. It's a great conversation piece to build a friendship between the two of you. Another one is to play the Price is Right. If you don't know what the Price is Right is, YouTube The Price is Right, and you will see what it is. It's an iconic show in North America and possibly other countries too, to be honest. Um, and play this game with some items while you window shop. So you pick an item right on the internet, and you have the other person try and guess how much that item is, and see how close they get. Then you flip the script. They have an item, they pick an item, you try and guess what it costs, and you see who's closer. Make it competitive if you want. Make it competitive if you'd like to. And lastly, we have our video practice, our listening practice. My nose is really, really itchy. It's getting like all over itchy. It's kind of weird. Anyway, so this is going to be a really difficult listening practice, but it'll be fun, and it'll be a cultural thing you can throw in as well. So there's lots of cheesy and funny and silly advertisements on TV and such that have happened that everyone knows. So in Canada, we have things like the Magic Bullet. That's a popular one. We had the Sham Wow at one point, I think it was called. That was a popular thing that went viral. There's I've help, I've fallen and I can't get up. That's another popular one where I live. So there's all these like random ads and TV commercials that everyone sort of knows. And this is your time to learn about them and do some listening practice with them. Watch one or two ads, or maybe more if you want to. Ask your tutor or your language partner for some recommendations. And then follow the same listening these same listening instructions we've been doing throughout this whole course, right? Write down to 10 to 20 timestamps that for stuff that maybe you didn't quite catch or didn't quite understand, right? And then you ask your tutor or your language exchange partner, like, what does that mean? What's the grammar here? Like, why do you say it that way? You might need to Google it some more, YouTube it, figure it out. And you'll learn a lot from that. And you'll really learn a lot about the culture. And possibly, depending on what kind of phrases there are, you may even try to remember the slogans that you like and try to use those structures in your speech. Now, some of the slogans might be kind of weird and kind of cheesy, and people don't talk that way, so be careful. But for example, I just told you in Canada, we have that ad, which is help. I think it's help. I've fallen and I can't get up. Like if you memorize that, get that in your head, like that's a very common I've fallen or I fell, right? I can't get up. These are things that we say, like these are common, right? And that takes us to step 6, which is food. We're now on page 184, so we're now well past the halfway point of this program, level 2 anyway. Or are we on level 2? Yes, level 2. I hope you enjoyed this video here. Hope it was useful for you. If you have any questions, visit azrenthelanguagenerd.com/free course. There's a button right there to contact me and to give any feedback or ask me any questions. You'll find it. You'll see it right there. I'm Azren the Language Nerd, once again, owner of the Calgary Language Nerds. We teach a wide variety of foreign languages to people of all ages and all levels of fluency. I appreciate your attention, and I hope to see you soon. Bye for now.